All right, guys, so I guess we are going to get it started, and I am going to bring in Christina Costas as well as Gina Phillips Hubble. Sorry. Okay, so we've got Costas is coming in, and then I'm going to look for Gina. Computer will cooperate. All right. Hello.
Hello, how are we?
Oh gosh, well, I feel like we should have some introduction music or something.
Right? I know. You all got your lipstick on. You're all set for today.
I did. I was like, okay, I'm so not going to look like I did yesterday. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I've thought I brought in Gina. Gina. Maybe she forgot.
Oh, that's awesome.
But maybe she's all of a sudden have had a sudden panic attack.
She's like, I don't think so. Rum looks better.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, oh no, it's saying that she's unable to join. What the heck?
Oh, heck no.
Come on, girl.
Hello, Marina. How are you today?
Oh man.
Who do we have? Oh, Muriel's here. Hello, Muriel. Linda Johnson, my Linda. Who else do we have? Becky's here. Oh, Brenda's here. Hello, Miss Brenda. Charlene. Oh, Becky, it's so nice to see everybody. Paul Donnelly's here. I can't wait to talk to you.
Oh my goodness.
Next week, the week after. Deb and Nona. Oh, I'm so excited. Paul,
so
I was stressing. I'm like, did I get my email in time for his chat? But I did. So I'm so glad I'll be able to chat with Paul Donnelly next week. If any of you ladies haven't gotten an email in, check out that time. It might not be next week. I might be on the wrong date, which is all the more possible. But that's going to be a really fun time. Let me see. My pictures are here. While we're waiting for Gina.
She's having issues join.
Okay, well, she'll get it. I have faith in her. Paul Donnelly. It is next week, April 11th.
Woo!
Cannot wait. Patty. Hello, Patty Bennett. How are you? And Diane. I think that's Diane that just joined. Diane.
There she is. Woo! Crisis averted. What'd you say?
Yeah. Okay, before we actually get this bad boy rolling, I want to make a point to raise. I would not have these curtains in my house. And I'll show you why. I'm actually not at my house. So, and some of you who have
we can't hear.
Mine,
that's just me.
Guess where I'm at, ladies?
That place looks quite familiar.
It does, doesn't it? I am at the Westin. I came to hide from my family. They have no idea where I'm at.
Thanks for the invite.
I know. Where's my invite? And I'm right in town.
Come on down. Just wear a mask and keep your distance.
Yes. Actually, I thought, I was like, where could I set up that? I was actually going to go onto the grounds of the memorial and be like, yo!
I'm going to wave from my window. That's funny. That's funny. So how is everybody? Do we have some people watching?
We do.
Sarah just joined. Sarah.
I think Paul Donnelly's here. Is he still
I
here?
saw that earlier. Saw
Yeah,
that a
what is
bit
the
ago.
Kraken doing?
The Kraken is doing its thing.
It's glorious.
For all of those who don't know, I call my hair the Kraken, and every time I anger it, it takes on a life of its own. So I really don't at me, Erica. Don't at me. You should have been here. So yeah. All right.
It was looking great last night.
I know, right? And then I slept on it and tried to like do something with it, and he was like, "No." I mean, look, see,
Who
the
told you to
curls
sleep?
were there. I don't know. It was a random idea, just
Yeah,
random.
thought so.
So how
Figured
is
that would be.
everybody today?
Seem to be doing well. We have some ladies with us that we've some newbies with us, as well as, you know, some of
Amazing.
our regulars. Our regulars are here, so that's awesome. Deb's here
Can't
and
believe I'm doing
Marina's
this.
here.
Can't believe I'm doing
Muriel's
a live.
Yeah, Muriel's here from Belgium.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Muriel from the, yes, I know who Muriel is. I have a lot of chats with her. She's, yes. Hi, Muriel.
I did my one of my chats with her as well. That was really awesome. And it
Yes.
looked like Diane is here from New York.
Diane.
Diane
Yeah.
Schindler, one of our new ones
Nice.
She's
that
a
I've
newbie.
recruited in Bryant Park. I officially made her a sister.
Wait, I do believe, is that Nancy Marla right there? She's in a parking lot again. Quit shopping, woman. You're always doing something. You're always shopping. At least buy us stuff instead of bragging about, I'm remodeling my new place.
Oh, so when you were having problems joining, Deb said, "Go to the car, Gina."
Yeah, right? God. It feels so weird not to be in a car and like on a virtual and talking, because as you know, anybody who does virtual chats with us knows I have terrible signal in my, like a gnat or a midge in the UK could literally fly past my satellite. I'm done. No signal. I'm out. So I do them from my car, which is always kind of fun. So yeah, you guys don't even know you're riding around with me when I'm doing those chats. So,
We do. At least those that have attended quite often.
yes. I feel like I'm looking down, but I swear I need to remember to look in the camera, because then I'm looking in your eyes
Yes.
as opposed to looking down.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a whole
All right.
tendency there. So yes. So how do you want to? Do you want to? Well, we know where you are. We know you're at the Westin, and you showed us
I
where
am.
we're
Yeah,
going to be
so
at the World War I Museum, which is incredible.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Christina. What were you going to
oh
say?
no, and I was just going to say, because she has ran away from her children, you may get some text messages from them. So if
Yeah.
Gina's like looking away, she's
Yeah.
just dealing with Remy.
I'm going to turn my phone down. You know, my kids, you know, you guys, anybody who's been to the convention or even people who've been on chats know my children. And I have a daughter named Remington and I have a son named Tristan, and Tristan has autism. So Remington is constantly the guardian. And if she feels like something's off, she calls me or she texts me. So if my phone goes off, I'm turning it down. I'm putting it on vibrate. But if it does, I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I'm just telling her, would you please stop texting? I'm live. Where's your dad? Did he leave? Because he's supposed to be there. So yeah.
Personally, I like when Tristan gets your phone, makes some calls, texts me some random strand of alphabet letters.
Calls Gary. Remington calls Richard. You know, it's just like,
I'm coming back as your kid.
Right.
I'm
Right.
coming back as your kid.
Yeah. Oh man, I tell you, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, well, I guess we better get to business.
We better get to
We
it.
better.
Okay. So, so while I'm going through some questions that we were able to drum up from those that have been to the Sasnak City events or first timers that will be coming this year, we wanted to make sure that we had a chance to, be prepared. But while I am going through some of the prepared questions, Christina, my partner in crime, is going to be watching the chat. So if anybody has a question, she's going to try and jot those down because it does scroll. It is live. So we're going to try and catch as many as we can, and we'll get to those as well. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. And so the first question that came in was from Gail Marshall Hayes. And so she first says, you know that you are so loved by so many. With all that you've have going on with your family, how are you able to get such awesome guests to come to the gathering? Do you bribe them?
Well, number one, I want to say this first. I'm going to get emotional today, and I know it's going to be crying live on Instagram. Oh my God. I hope like none of the cast log in and are like, oh Jesus, Gina, calm down. But you know, it could happen because I know that I love all my attendees so much. I mean, they're my family. So see, there I go. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's like the time you made me cry in front of David Barry. Ha! Mentioned him first, Christina. So
that is so wrong. That is so wrong.
There's a lot going on in my personal life, but you know, when I look at it doing an event, I want to find cast who, number one, we want so many cast members. We do. We want them all.
I want her to see me. Sorry.
I really do. I want to get as many, you know, as many as I can, because the cast, God, they're just such amazing people. And I know that people are like, get the leads, you know, with Outlander, it's get Sam, get Katrina. But you know, they're hard to get. They're in very high demand. And I'm very lucky with the cast that I'm able to get to attend. And not to say that Sam and Katrina would never be able to attend, but they're incredibly busy, as is the other cast. So it comes down to timing. And what we have discovered, case in point, is Tim Downey. I mean, Tim was a last minute addition in 2019. And Tim, God, he was so amazing. And the dynamic between him and the other cast members, and, you know, Colin McFarlane, Kyle Reese, and those are cast members that, you know, we were literally just introduced to them, but I brought them and they knocked it so far out of the park. And then you have your amazing other cast, you know, Sophie, Graham, Gary, Richard. I mean, I'm very fortunate that the timing works out, and that I'm able to fit them into my budget, because, right, you know, it's costly to do an event like this, and it's costly to bring cast. And, you know, with what you have to be compensated, and, you know, it's tricky. It's very tricky, but you have to be able to fit it into your budget, which is key. Because if I don't fit it into my budget, I can't have them.
Exactly.
So I try to work it all out and make it work in your guys' favor, not in mine, but actually in yours. So right. I'm a fan too.
So then, following up on a similar question, and Jerry Sato would like to know how you select the guests for chats.
Okay. You know, it's interesting because I am a fan of so many shows, and I know who I want to talk to, but I'm not engaged in the chats. I'm not actually, you know that, I remove myself from the chat. So I just do run-throughs with them prior to it. And I know in that second how great of a chat it's going to be, because the cast that I've been fortunate enough to get are so engaging, and they're so invested in it.
Yes.
And some of them have come as a complete surprise. Didn't think I'd get them, and I did. So it's just a matter of looking at, because, you know, I've actually put out, who would you guys like to chat with? Mm-hmm. Who would you like to talk to? And you guys always respond. You know, you can DM me, and
David
if you guys
Barry.
Have any questions?
David Barry.
Or did it?
David Barry.
Not to say he won't do it again, but so let me see here. Getting a text from my daughter. Okay. So wanting to know where the cheese is. Probably in the fridge. I just select them based a lot on what you guys, you know, what you have, and then I send out multiple offers, and it all comes down to availability, because, you know, you have cast members who are working on different projects. Like Toby Regla right now, he's working on remodeling his kitchen, so, you know, and his house, he's redoing his whole flat, so I have to work around his timeline with that. Paul Donnelly's coming up, Eliza Butterworth's coming up. I've got a couple more that are coming up that I haven't announced yet, you know, so it just depends on their schedule. But I try to get main characters of shows, as well as people who are not, but are always in that scene and actually have lines and are engaged in the episode. I don't want the fourth guy on the horse to the left of Finnan. I don't want that, you know, because he doesn't have any talking lines. We wouldn't know who he is, and that would be unfair to him. So, yeah.
Well, you did at the first one back. I know I've seen we have some of the OGs one from your first event, not the chats, but the event. as far as having characters that, or actors that, like Tim Downey, you said, and Kyle Reese. At that first one, you had Ed Spaliers.
Mhm.
So it was, that was before, we had ever seen him in character. And
Yeah.
it was so cool to see him and chat with him before we got that really love to hate him, but love to look at him. And he was so awesome
Yeah.
as Stephen Bonnet. So it was awesome to have him
Yeah.
there.
So I have actually brought in Marina Liberty.
Hello,
Um,
Marina.
Hi, Gina.
How are you?
Marina is actually
I'm
one of our
good. This is very
newest.
exciting.
I'm live with 3 gorgeous women. You can't beat that.
There you
Sorry.
go. Who's luckier than you?
Nobody's luckier than me right now. You're fantastic, Marina. I just met Marina recently, actually, in a virtual chat that she did. So yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I'm a newbie, total newbie.
You
Yeah.
are?
So yes, she
So you'll
is.
see me with my looking around when I get there in August. Can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be fun. Total fun.
And so I wanted to go ahead and bring Marina in here because she had a great question. And so do you want to ask your question, or do you want me to go ahead and do you remember your question?
Sure, I'll ask it.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. Because I was like,
I'm
maybe.
not that far gone yet. I'm old, but
I don't remember half my questions that I ask people. So
All right. So
This just happened, I think, the other day, so it hasn't been a long time, so I remember it. But my question was, I find it really interesting, like, how would someone even, I know you had gone to other conventions and been a fan that way, but how did you even dream this up for yourself and get it started? And I'm going to have it in Kansas City and I'm going to have it here. I can't, I don't have that kind of mindset. So I wouldn't even know, how would that even begin as a dream, as an idea that sparked, your passion about it?
I grew up around production. I had a very, I was in theaters in school. And so I worked in the backgrounds of that. I got introduced to the bar industry at a very young age. And so I started working in bars, and then I started doing, events for the bars and the venues. And then I actually started running venues. I was behind the scene on productions. I was a bouncer. I ran security because, I'm a big girl. So it was appropriate. So it just kind of developed into that. And, I've always been there's an amphitheater in Kansas City that I worked at for several years, event coordinating, working contracts, signing talent into nightclubs, managing bands, stuff like that. And then I fell in love with Outlander in 1994. And so when the show came out, and they started having conventions, I went to the very first Highlanders convention, and it was fantastic. And I had been to we have a con here in Kansas City, a very good con here in Kansas City, Planet Comic Con, which is excellent. And so when I'd been to other ones, San Diego, New York, throughout my life, and there was an incident in particular at an event I was at when I was standing there and I realized I'm in my 40s. I'm in my freaking 40s. I'm not a 16-year-old kid waiting in line to see my favorite boy band with a great pair of knees and excellent hips and a great back because I'm 16. Nope, I'm in my 40s. I'm a little bit older than that. I've been on my feet my whole life. I've done physical labor. I've given birth. I've had epidurals, and it dawned on me. I was looking around and I'm like, we deserve better than this. I deserve better than this. We standing in this line all deserve better than this. I remember a girl was standing next to me and I said, Jesus, we deserve better than this. And she said, yeah, but where are you going to find it? And I stood there for a second and I thought, and I looked right at her and I said, I'm not going to find it. I'm going to create it. And so I had actually I've been put in touch with another person who wanted to do an event and another person who wanted to do an event. And this event was actually going to take place elsewhere. Wasn't going to be in the United States. It was going to be actually in the UK. And unfortunately, due to creative differences, that company had to be dissolved. And so we didn't actually do the event. And I was sitting in Kansas City, my home, and I thought, I busted my butt. This needs to happen. And so it began to take shape. And I chose the name Sasnak City because it's Kansas backwards. And in Outlander, Jamie calls her a Sassenach. So that's why I chose the name. And then it was just a matter of finding the right agent and going to the right agent and, you know, having the right contract. And it's, I guess it comes from a love of the behind the scenes. I mean, I was in theater and I did get on stage, but I prefer to be behind the scenes. Yeah, like I am right now, I can tell you, the girls know this. And if Julie Walker was watching, she would verify. I'm not good on stage. I freak out before I go on stage. I'm like hyperventilating, freaking out because I prefer to be behind the scenes. So I know it sounds weird, but yeah, it's just, I found a passion for something. And when you have passion, seriously, you can do anything. If you have passion for something, nothing, we're women. Nothing can stop us when we set our mind to it. And that goes for all women. That isn't just me or you. You know how we are. We're passionate. We give birth. We raise babies. We take care of our husbands. We take care of our livelihood. We are survivors. We've survived so much. Why can't we have passion for something like this? And I did it. What did I have to lose? Although I was terrified at the first event. If Julie was on here and, you know, Linda Morden was probably on here, she could tell you. I was convinced it was going to fail. 100%. Going to fail. Going to collapse. Just going to slink away into the fandom and never be seen again. So, but it didn't. So yeah, how do you get into it? How do I come up with something like this? I designed a convention that I wanted to attend and that I would pay for, with the idea in mind that this fandom, we deserve better. All fandoms do. But Outlander is my passion, as is The Last Kingdom. So I definitely think we deserve better. Yeah.
And that's actually, we deserve better. I was just going to say, Deb commented, and it's true. That's the phrase. That's the phrase that I think of when I think of Sasnak City, because that's the only place we get what we deserve as fans, in my opinion. And I have been to others. I was in New Jersey. I was in Chicago. You know, there have been others, and I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy it myself, but I when I really think about how I enjoyed it, it was literally the Sasnak sisters, my friendship through Sasnak. That my friends are the ones that made those other events better. And Linda Polisi actually said, you know, it's events. You put on events for fans where we can fangirl with no fear of looking odd. And then we have other people. Nona writes, Sasnak City gave me a family of sisterhood.
Absolutely.
So there's so much more to you putting, you know, when you created this as a better, as fans deserving better, what's the thing that surprises you, or that not surprises you? What's the thing that means the most to you about Sasnak City? Because we all have said, you know, Mandy has create phrases, but Sasnak City is unique. And for all of the people that are new or that haven't attended one, I was an absolute con virgin. I was a fandom virgin. I was freaked out. My kids were convinced I was joining a cult. I just was stressed by myself, and I can't tell. And I was quiet. I know, hard to believe, but I was much quieter. And it's amazing because the being an attendee was incredible. And I know I'm going to let you talk, but I actually had someone ask me, how come you and Gina are attached at the hip? And I'm like, well, I don't know, A, that we are, but B, they asked how I knew Gina. I knew Gina because I saw her on stage. I don't know. I know I sent her a thank you after the event, the first event. But then, you know, just like with the other friends that I made through Sasnak City, you know, you just click. And now suddenly she sends me lots of capital letter text messages.
Costa,
where are you?
Where are you?
What's icing the cookies code for? But anyhow, to the question, and the question has been asked several times that people did want to know. What is the best / most important thing for you or that you get out of Sasnak City?
Okay, before I answer that, I want to say this, because it ties in with your original question, Marina. It's this. I am a fan, first and foremost, and I should not be treated as an ATM machine. I should not watch as the cast that I love and admire, who bring these amazing characters, as I choke on my own tongue, amazing characters to life, be treated like cash cows. They're not dancing chickens. They're not. And I found that to be, you know, because they're run ragged, and we're run ragged. And I wanted something better. And so the cast deserves better. We deserve better. And so that's why, you know, with that, what happened with the first event, I always make a joke that I threw a party and invited a bunch of people and they showed up, you know. I think, okay, so I am going to get emotional. I'm going to have to get up and go get tissue because my mascara is going to run down my face. Oh, God. There comes a moment, you know, I did the event and I was so focused on the event. For me personally, there was a moment at the first event, and Julie Walker was next to me when I stepped into the auditorium and looked down the auditorium at the stage and saw it for the first time, the setup and the logo and the stones. And I was like, it hit me so hard that it was real. But it was later that day and through the weekend that when I stand back and look, shit, I'm getting all weepy live.
Call me Barbara Walters, baby.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Please tell me no passengers are on this right now.
No.
Oh my God. All they need is Stephen Cree to come in and be like, what the F, Tina? All right, Barbara, calm down. Yes, everybody watching, that's Costas's new name, is Barbara. So there comes a moment when you're standing there and, you know, you're watching people walk up and meet this cast member who brought, you know, Fergus to life, and they brought Roger to life, and they brought Ian to life, and, you know, Dougal and young Ian, as well as Ian Sr., and they brought Lord John Grey to life.
Thank you.
You know, and there's just this moment that it's so surreal. It's like just knowing that I have some small part of making somebody's dreams come. And I know that sounds weird that people have a dream to meet a cast member, but we're in a fandom. We're fans. So, and I know that the fan, oh, you're in a fandom. Oh my God, you guys are weird. I get that a lot. But, you know, people roll their eyes when they hear you're part of a fandom. Yeah, back up off me, because we're way more powerful than you think. So, you know, we're a lot stronger. We don't need your crap. We don't need to be given a hard time. But there comes a moment when you're watching that, and Mary Walker. Oh my God, that was so painful, and it still is. But when I watched Mary step into her own, a known self-admitted wallflower, and she just blossomed at this event. It was the most powerful thing that I ever felt that didn't directly affect me, like my children, my husband directly, my immediate family. But seeing Mary Walker do that, a girl who had been bullied and picked on and excluded, and people wouldn't talk to her, and she found her family. You know, the last quote of the video says, if you're an uncool kid, if you've never fit in, the new video I just released, if you've ever felt like an outsider, or what I want people to know about Sasnak City is we are your family. If you are an outcast, if you have been shunned, if you're not one of the cool kids, because I sure as hell was never a cool kid. I was like theater geek, poor ass family. We were broke. It was like we didn't have the cool clothes, we didn't have any of that. Now granted, I was also a stoner. So, you know, I could always get my hands on the best marijuana and chugging beer before gym class. That was me also. But I was an outcast. And That's what Sasnak City's for. It's for people who can't find their people, because we are the family you never knew you needed. That's what Sasnak City is. And I didn't even know I needed them until I did the first event. And now I can't live without them because they're my family. They are, you can't choose your family, they say. The hell you can. You can. You can. And I found mine. So I didn't mean to get everybody weepy.
Thanks. Now we're all crying.
Yeah, thanks.
Hold on. Penalty. Penalty.
This is true.
Did you see that? Maria,
I
they
know.
fouled me. They did me a foul.
I know.
So I'm gonna
I know-
we're gonna say goodbye to Marina really quick.
Okay. Thank you, Marina.
Okay. Thank you so
See you
much.
soon.
for
Can't wait to
joining.
see you. Bye.
I know that Christina, that Woodworth, she's Woodworth, with a K, has questions. But because you were saying how this is the family you never knew you needed, and people were asking how you pick your how you pick the cast for the chats and for the events. I just wanted to real quick go back to that, because that is a question that people want to know. How do you pick who's attending as far as the cast members for the event?
I look at, basically when you step back and you look at the overall fandom and the overall series, I always like to have major players, of course, major cast members. But when you start looking at, I don't necessarily go in, I know some conventions do, they look at the amount of followers somebody has and this and this. What catches my attention is the engagement with fans. Because if an actor takes the time to get invested in his fans and wants to know them, that means he's going to knock the experience out of the park for them. I mean, it doesn't come down to he's got 800,000 followers, so I want him. You have to look at the smaller details. And of course, it comes to availability, production availability, other projects. You have to find out if they're within your budget, how much, they come in at. It's hard to select them. It's just so difficult. And it's sometimes you get a cast member and then they have to cancel because of production schedule, or they have to do this or they have to do that. So when I'm able, that's why I always go from, I kind of look at people from the very first season throughout. I like to have somebody from all the seasons, and not necessarily the lead actors, the top leads, the second leads, whatever. It can be someone like Annette Badland, who played Mrs. Fetz. Who was one of my favorite human beings. She was in season 1. She will be coming back in November. So, because she's amazing. She is a legend in acting. Mm-hmm. And people just love her, and she gives that. She's invested in her fans. So it's kind of a tricky process. But of course, I also look at who people are talking about, where the chatter is, who they'd like to meet, who they'd like to have photos with, or how much somebody enjoyed somebody. So, yeah.
So continuing on that theme, Woodworth, I promise I'll stop being Barbara Walters any hour now. Continuing on the theme of how you're planning the event, you decide that. This is sort of a 2 or 3 part question, depending on how much I talk. Which first, how did you come to your amount, your total? How did you come to decide on a number of attendees to keep? How did you decide how do you decide when to have the event? What month you're picking, that as well. And do you kind of answered this, but I just want to make it clear because I had the question. Do you pick an actor based on you wanting to be their friend? Do you pick an actor based on any personal, benefit to you?
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the first part. Now, the first event I did, I had the auditorium has a larger capacity than what I sell. It is the World War I museum. It's a big building. But the auditorium itself in there, it has a larger capacity. So the first event I sold at 240. Well, I didn't sell that event out. I actually half of that, it was very small. The second event, or the second event after that, I brought it down to 220, and I kept it there for that event and the October 2019 event. I don't like it. So I have again cut the amount of seats. I've taken it down to 192. It may go smaller than that. I don't know. How do I decide that? This event is based off the intimacy level that you have, you know, being in an intimate environment, getting to spend time with cast. And I know that's always, you know, how many cast members am I going to have? I've been asked that 150 times. I try to stay between 6 and 8. Now, in the case of Tim Downey, that was a 9th cast member, and it was a bit chaotic because there were so many fans there. So with that knowledge, I try to stick between 6 and 8. That doesn't mean I won't go higher, because it could happen. I mean, I have cast members who request, you know, who want to come. And that could, I mean, that's with The Last Kingdom and Outlander. So with the 190, if you go over like the 9 mark and start like 10, 12, 14 people, you know, cast members, you're becoming a bigger convention. Like, and I have nothing against those because they've got my money because I've gone, but a bigger convention where that is their model is people in booths and you run them through really fast. That is not what I want. I want you to be able to walk up, Gary Lewis, and, you know, Gary starts a sing along with you, and he starts, and then tells me to piss off, which he actually did. But so you can take the time to actually have that. I don't believe in you step in, smile, click, next. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in trying to force people through it. Every time I've had to, it gets very uncomfortable for me because, you know, we have cast members that have to leave early. So we have to get everybody through the line because production is called. We need them back a day early. You need to get them on a plane today. And I'm like, okay. So we've had things like that happen. So I try to stick between that number, because anything over that, you're losing the intimacy. You're losing what I designed Sasnak City to be. What was the next question? What time of month? Did I answer both of those, or I need a month? What time of year do I prefer? Is that way? How do I pick when it is?
How do you pick when it is?
So I had my first event in April, and in April 2018, I had the second one in November. The third one I wanted for November, but unfortunately, I have to have a certain section. I have to have like the VIP area. I have to have certain sections of the museum available to me. And we were trying every weekend in November to get it covered. And it was like somebody had that on a Friday night. Well, I can't because that's the green room. Somebody had this on a Saturday afternoon. Well, I can't. That's where the VIPs eat lunch. So I had to move it to October. And, you know, that was a really bad deal for me, because I remember where I was when I announced the event. I announced it on a Friday night. And on Saturday morning, I found out that I had actually collided with another event and was hosting it on the same weekend. It was like, what? And there was 2 of my friends were there who are actually attendees of the event who I was traveling with. They are the ones who told me. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And they're like, no. I was like, oh my God. It was devastating, because I would have never done that. You know, and it's another small convention. We're small conventions. And so we have to have each other's back. Kyle,
do you see the chaos Kyle is causing?
I even tried to bring him on, and he declined.
He's gonna be like $50 says he would be like, Gina, you need to postpone the event. That's what he would say. So I can make sure, because I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, Kyle can't come because he's getting married that day. And I tried to get him to push the wedding off, but he wouldn't do it. So
we'll just have you'll have to have another one. You'll have to have another one so that Kyle can come.
I love Kyle. You're my boy.
Drinking whiskey with Kyle is in an afternoon. Drinking whiskey with Kyle in the afternoon at a coffee place is awesome.
Kyle crushed it at the event. He was just so amazing.
Yes.
So, oh God, so much fun. He's like my long lost brother. He really is. It's like, man. Yeah, me and Kyle clicked immediately. It was awesome.
They're telling make him get married at the event.
Oh yes, there you go.
Why are all these Welsh people here? But I don't understand what they're saying, but they're here for Kyle's.
Oh my goodness, my goodness.
So was that it? Did I answer your question there, Christine?
I think you did. I think you did. I think you did. basically answer. I mean, I know there's a lot. I would assume people realize there's a not. Yes, Kyle.
Kyle,
Bye. Thank
bye.
you.
Bye, Kyle. Love
I
you.
think people realize there's a lot that goes into being able to fix everyone, fit everyone's
It's
schedule
hard. It's
uh,
hard. It's
into
hard.
when you're able to get the museum and when you're able to
I
have it.
prefer November. I'm going to tell you right now, I prefer November. Which, I planned the event for 2020 in November. Then I had to postpone to June, and now I've postponed to November. I prefer November, and here's why. I tried, we go through the year and we've got like summer with the, if we have kids, we have summer with the kids, we have this, we have that, we have sports activities, we have all the weddings that go on in the summer, all the things we do, family vacation, this. But there's that brief period of time between the end of October, because if you have kids, you got Halloween. But between the end of October and right before Thanksgiving, where there's really not a whole lot going on. And that is the moment that I prefer, because then you can do something for yourself. You've done all this other crap for the family all year long, and now you're going into the holidays. So it's going to be, again, havoc and mayhem. But if you can take a weekend out and come just fangirl your heart out and wave that freak flag as high as you want, and fangirl and be with your friends and just go crazy for a weekend. Then when you go back home to the family who doesn't understand your passion for the fandom, you're in complete reset. And you're ready to take on the holidays, but you've done something for yourself. So something that feeds that fangirl in us all, or fanboy in us all.
Is that Steph?
So, yeah.
Steph, I'm excited to meet you, Steph. Yes, I did come alone, so there's lots of us that do that. So it'll be awesome. Just look for me.
Okay, so now I'm going to get back to some of the questions. One of the questions that comes up frequently, or people on social media, they're a little surprised by your tiers and your prices. And so, do you want to explain why your prices are why they are?
Yeah. When I first did the event, I got a lot of hate, the very first event that I did, because my ticket prices are high. I'm not stupid. I know that. But there's a lot of cost that goes into this. If I was doing a big convention with, 1,000 people, I could knock down the cost and be like, and I've had people say that, why can't you do a bigger event and lessen the cost? Because that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. I have women who buy the top tier ticket who make $20 a week payments from the time they buy all the way until they come. I mean, it's not about, oh, well, I have the money, I can buy it right now, not a problem. It's hard to do an event of this caliber with under 200 tickets. And if I could just pay for it, I would. And just be like, oh, but that's not how it works. And so having a cast member agree to, doing things that they never do was the concern of mine in the beginning. But they did. And the cost of it, I'm providing, one of the things that's actually not listed on the website that I want to clarify, and I've been asked this by previous attendees, they've DM'd me and asked me, lunch is always provided. It has been since day one. It's included in everybody's ticket. The reason it's not listed on the website anymore is because, as you guys witnessed, I was providing lunches for everybody, but people were not responding. So I was trying to add extras in. I mean, last year I threw away over $1,000 worth of lunches because people, it was just a mess. It was a mess, and it was not done properly. And and I'm trying, trying to balance and do this. And so now I've made it so that when Patty, my fantastic Patty Schroeder, Patricia Schroeder, who is one of my team, posts it in the attendees group, you have to opt in. If you do not tell her what you want on what day, there will be no food for you. You will have to go to the cafe and purchase it, because it became very wasteful. And that's a cost that I have to eat, so to speak, speaking of lunches. So, there was things that I just need to make that clear. And, there's beverage service throughout, and there's things that I add throughout. I know my ticket prices are high, but they're also very limited. The top tier ticket, there's 17 of them. Only 17 people have access to that. my tickets are inclusive, except for in the case of the Outlander event, it would be the Carolina Territories. In case of the Last Kingdom event, it would be Northumbria. It's basically an entrance ticket. You get lunch, you get to go to the panels, you can buy whatever. It's totally a la carte. You can pick and choose what you want. But as you look at the tickets, everything starts increasing. Photos cost money. You know what I mean? They're paid to do what they're doing. And so I have to cover all the costs. I don't put them in the back seat of an aircraft next to a screaming baby. You know, you have to take care of your cast, and I do. Which, Christina, that was a question you have. You asked me about going from that, you know, with the event and the pricing, and I forgot to mention that with, you know, what you say being, if there's anything in it for me, is that what you said?
Yes, yes. Well,
Okay.
people look at it. I mean, the critics, you know, the ones that you've had come at you, and you know, I'm a preacher because I don't want. I've become a preacher of Sasnak City. It's something I believe in with my heart because I've experienced it. But yes, people do say, oh, you know, is Gina friends with this one? Is Gina friends with that one? You know, and it's so difficult, I think, for them to comprehend that this is a business. This is a business. This is a business.
Yeah.
And so yeah, to explain that, how, you know, how many phone calls from Richard Rankin do you get a day?
Really? I'm not, okay, so if I, coming into this as an organizer, had done it with the intentions of being friends with the cast or having some connection with the cast, I'm in it for the wrong reasons, 100% the wrong reasons. And I know that sounds crazy. People seem to think that I'm like besties with the cast, and no, I'm not. It's a business deal. I love all the cast, and there is some that outside of the convention, yes, we meet at the convention, we spend very limited time. You guys actually have more access to them and spend more time with them than I do. But outside of that, communicating, who I have developed friendships with. I have a friendship with Kyle Reese. I have one with Gary Lewis. You know, I mean, Colin McFarland and my husband are like this. You know, Stephen Cree and my husband have some weird sort of thing going on there.
That is true.
You know, I mean, I develop a form of friendship with them, but it's not like they're calling me up saying, hey, Gina, I'm going to invite you to my wedding, Kyle. It's not like, totally kidding. But, you know, I mean, it's not like that. I talk to Gary Lewis a lot, but Gary and I have developed a friendship out of it. My daughter Remington is friends with, you know, she became acquainted, she's not friends with, but she became acquainted with Graham McTavish's children. So, you know, because they were here. Graham, absolutely, you know, there's amazing cast members and they're just such great people. But first and foremost, this is a business. If I did this to get gay notoriety or just be friends with the cast, I'm in it for the wrong reasons. And I don't feel that's right for an organizer to do that. I mean, to make money, okay, I can see organizers being, well, I can make a fortune on this, but that's a big convention. Because a small convention like me, it's going to take years. There's a lot that's invested in this. And it's like, I know that. I've seen that where people do that. And it's just, it doesn't make sense to me because this is a business. And you can't cross that line. With Gary, I mean, even with Gary, I can talk to Gary every freaking day if I want to, which I don't. But we can talk a lot. But when it comes time to negotiate a contract, do you think I go to Gary and say, hey, Gary, do you want to come to Kansas City? No. Absolutely not. I go through my booking agent. My booking agent then contacts his agent. And that's how we work it. I mean, I gave exclusive rights to book to a certain individual because he's excellent in the business and he knows exactly what he's doing. And I have to maintain professionalism. So I know there's people that think, hey, can you just, you know, can you just do this chat with a couple people that I know? That has to go and be done through a contract. I mean, there's a line. There's a fine line that has to be walked. And as an organizer, this is not about me. This is about you guys. This isn't about me.
Right.
I think that's important for people to know, Gina, because that is something. Darren says the way that you treat the cast, it does make them respect you. You do earn their respect and they do want to come back. But people need to learn, and I have learned in the past couple of years, that you don't do this for you. And
no.
Speaking of that, that's a big question. What are some of your, because I don't think people realize, some of your favorite moments don't even involve you. from Sasnak
No.
City. You're an
No.
you're standing to the side. And I think that that's important for people to realize that you are more concerned with the attendees having time with their favorites.
Yeah.
Then
There's a couple moments that just, there's so many moments. There's just, the first event, and Woodworth, were you at the first? No, you weren't.
Not
You
the
tried to
first
crash
one.
the first event.
you tried. She
Don't
tried.
spill my secrets.
But I know, some of them on here, like, Costas, Kathy, some of my first generations were there. There was a moment at the first event that hit me so hard. There was actually a couple of them at the very first event. Opening ceremonies, when everybody in the auditorium sang the Skyboat song. That was just like, and Cesar Tambor, I was filming it, and that was Lauren's first event. That was Ed Spalier's first Outlander event. He hadn't even been announced, I mean, it was like, it was just so amazing. I mean, so that was really powerful. The next one would be being at that same event involve Stephen Cree. When he allowed me to show his film, The Little Princess, and the whole cast came out and watched it, and we were all in tears because it was so good. And I remember sitting on the stairs next to Stephen, and he was just vibrating because he was so nervous. And I just reached up and took his hand, and he clamped down on my hand. And it was so profound. And of course, he got a standing ovation because it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So being able to give that, the second event, every event has special things to it. Going back to the first event when I brought Tristan and Remington out on stage, and Tristan said, bonjour, chérie, into the microphone. I was like, I think it was the 2019 event where he took the mic from me and started talking. My son has autism. That's not his style. So, but he did it, took that right from me. There's so many things that, that y'all just don't see. And when Mandy Tucker made the video right at the beginning of COVID, and I think if somebody hasn't seen it, it's here on the Instagram page. Every time I can just hear the song and I start crying because I don't see that. I don't get to see all those moments and those experiences because I'm so busy. But to know you guys are having a great time, that's just huge to me. It's huge. One of my favorite moments from this past event, believe it or not, was when David Barry called Christina up and gave her a hug. Because
I
she
know,
simply
mine
said,
too.
it means so much to us when we like, when you guys like something we say or do, or heart the comment. And David was like, David hugged her and she freaked out. Totally.
And the world has
things
never
like
been the
that.
same.
There's just there's things like that, those little moments. So, and I'm looking forward to the TLK event because I think that there's going to be a lot of those moments too. Eliza Butterworth, she has been to Omaha, Nebraska hundreds of times because that's where her mama's from. So, I'm excited about that, her coming to the Midwest and actually doing an event in the Midwest, because as we know, the Midwest has a completely different vibe. And, Mark and Arnett, I mean, all of them, I'm just super excited about them. So I think it's going to be amazing. I'm just so excited. So excited. And, I'm going to say this right now. I can't look you in the face, well, in the camera, and say, this event will be like no other one you've ever experienced. And I actually can. Okay, so I can actually say that. I can actually say that, and I can guarantee that this first TLK event will not be like any other one you've ever attended. And here's why. Because saying that, and guaranteeing that, every event has the right to say that, because no two conventions are alike. No two cast members are alike. No singular cast member on a Saturday or a Sunday is the same.
Right.
Every event, the only thing I can guarantee you is if you purchase this tier, that's what you're getting. I can't guarantee what's going to happen after that, but except for the fact that I can say it'll be like no other event you've ever attended, at least of mine, because it's a different cast lineup. as we know, an event with Richard Rankin is completely different than an event without Richard Rankin. So, I mean, you know, an event without Gary is completely different from an event with him. And, you know, it's completely different. So anytime I can say that. I can say absolutely 100%. I guarantee that this event will not be like anyone you've ever attended. That's not because of the ticket tiers. That's not because of the location. That's not because of who I am. Who are you? It's because of the cast is different and the attendees. The attendees are what makes it special. Not me. I just put together a ticket package.
And it's, you know, just kind of going through the comments. I mean, so many people commented, you know, each tier is for, I mean, just amazing. Does not matter what level you're in. I can attest as an attendee originally, me and Christy, or Leslie, because she goes by Leslie Christine. She and I, we decided, you know, when we couldn't crash the first event, we were going to pay for the second one. But we did. We went ahead and did the day passes because we looked at our budget, and knew what we could afford, and then we did add-ons, and then we did add-ons, and then we did more add-ons. But the point is, what I'm going with is you have that option. You control what you're going to spend.
Absolutely.
Or unless you're impulsive. And then you're just like, just take all my money. But I've also learned that the next tier up is going to have more options, more things that are included. So you have to balance all of that out, do the math. I'm not a math person. I just see, okay, here's my card. Just take my money.
Well, yeah, the tiers are broken that way because, you know, there's some people who they've never been, so they want to just experience it. They just want to get like their feet in the water and see what's going on with it because they don't know. But then there's the next tier up. So like, which one are we talking about? Outlander or which one? Let's talk about Last Kingdom.
Yeah, we'll do the Last Kingdom.
The Northumbria ticket's here. It's the basic entry ticket. You can buy anything you want that's available, that becomes available. Meet and greets, photos, autos, selfies, whatever. Then you jump up a level, and when you go to East Anglia, you, of course, are getting all autographs with regular cast members. Now, currently, how many cast members do I have announced? I have 7. All of those are regular cast members. And that means every one of those autographs you're getting. Yep. And, you go from that, and plus you get 2 photos that I choose. But if you look at the cast lineup, it's not like, oh, I didn't want a picture with the 5th guy from the left. You know what I mean? The 5th guy from the left in the back row. Or the guy that got his head cut. I wanted a picture with, you know, Christian, or I wanted a picture with this person. So, but as you go up, more photos are added. More extras are kicked in. Then you come to the top tier where it's all photos, all autos, group photos. I mean, all of it. So there's a reason it's costed the way it is. And, you know, I know that people, I've been asked this directly about autographs and about bringing stuff to be autographed. You can bring pretty much anything you want. The cast member always reserves the right to refuse to sign something if they're uncomfortable with it. But fan art, all those things. I do not provide actual official photos of them in costume. And this is why. I am not an official convention. I've never claimed to be an official convention. So therefore, I do not have a license to distribute official products. Plus, I'm there celebrating. Yes, we love them because, you know, Mark plays, you know, Finnan, and Arnis plays Citric, and, you know, Eliza. We love them for that. Emily and Frida. But I'm introducing the cast member, not the character.
Right.
So I don't know. Do either of you happen to have your autograph cards handy? That is an autograph card that I put together. So it has the event, and then it has the actual headshot used, and then we do this little thing, and it's a card. And if you have a tier that has autographs, they're going to be in there. So yeah. Yep. I like that because sometimes people don't have anything for them to autograph.
Right.
So this is true. So yeah, it's very important to have that. But where were we? Did I just totally go off kilter?
Well, we're talking about the tiers. So the one thing that that people have said in it's been scrolling by, but something that also you should to bring up is there is no bad seat. Now, you and I were in New Jersey, and it's a different type of event. And I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy, you know, I didn't enjoy myself, but my seat, which I paid a lot of money for was I couldn't see a thing. I
Yeah.
couldn't see a thing. I couldn't understand anything. The acoustics, things like that there were some issues. In the
Yes.
auditorium at the World War I Museum, it's been said there's not a bad seat.
No. It's because it's a true theater. It's truly a theater seating, and it was built with the acoustics for lectures and conventions and conferences to happen. So plus the seats are designed to sit in a majority of the day. I'll have a lamp. Who's that?
Well, it's Mandy. Mandy.
Trouble.
How do I turn it around? You've been begging. There it is. She's been begging to get on here.
This is the girl who does my video.
The brilliant video. Sorry.
I want to finish.
Yeah,
I'm special.
Yeah.
The seats are really big because they're designed to be sat in all day long. And so they're really big, they're really comfortable, very squishy. And there's enough room in front of you between the rows that you're not, like knocking people, hitting each other in the back of the head. And everybody can see. And I think that's so very important because
for short people,
you're sitting behind a tall person, right? And I'm fairly tall, but I've been stuck behind somebody who's a lot taller than me, and I'm like, crap. But it's the J.C. Nichols Auditorium, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It
is.
is
Amazing. So yeah, there's no bad seat at all. So yeah.
There was a comment, just to finish up that your tears. There was a comment, I believe it was Heidi. She said her husband doesn't even have sticker shock anymore because he understands the value for whichever tier you get. So every tier, I've been different tiers myself, and every tier, there's incredible value. And yeah, there's no bad views. And yes, Brenda, the cast can see us, which is
the cast can see you.
Sometimes they see your reaction, and you're like,
I think it was. Let me see. Who was it? It was Whitney. Was it Whitney who said it was like by Sunday? And Whitney was like, she was a Craig Nadoon, I do believe. But by Sunday, the panels on Sunday, it was like being in a living room with your best friends. I mean, that's what it was like, because the cast really it doesn't matter what tier you are. They recognize you and they know you by name. And it starts happening Saturday and just keeps rolling and developing. It's pretty amazing. I mean, yeah, it's very, yeah. I've seen the most amazing things happen at this event. I just can't even. So what's Mandy want?
I don't know, but she's been coming on here. She's been trying to get on here.
You should hear what she's saying to get on here. She's been saying some crazy things in order to get on here.
I'm like, one word, let me in the video.
Hold on.
The
Darren,
one thing that
Hold on.
Just I want to
asked
say to
a
Darren,
question.
yes, that is the best picture ever. Thank you.
Beth just asked, I just happened to glance down and see a question. How long is the event each day? The event on Saturday is very long because it runs from morning into evening, because that is when I have the Lords of the North Roundtable for the TLK event, or the Blue Mountain Cocktails Roundtable. So that event now it's scheduled for 2 hours, but we've all seen it. When Clarence was there, it took way longer than that. So when Clarence was there, it took way longer.
Because he was trying to get Leslie to do a handstand.
I know. Good Lord. Okay, back to Mandy.
well, keep in mind too, we had Gary Lewis and Richard too, and neither one of them move unless they want to.
Pissed off multiple times.
In the chat, I was in a chat with you when Gary told you piss off, because he had things he was discussing. I think it was Joanna Boone, but the books behind her, and you said to him, Gary, and he said, Gina, piss off. I'm talking.
And I want to jump in. Yes, Diane. So the roundtable event is going to be, it's more like cocktail dress attire.
Yes. There's two different cocktail events at the event, two cocktail activities. The Fraser's Ridge / Bevenberg ticket includes the private VIP. That is business casual or cocktail dress. I want that to be kept on that side of things. And there is a winner from the Wessex ticket group or the Lollybrook ticket group that actually gets that. And I notify them early. I draw the names and notify them early so they can bring the proper attire, because you're on a glass bridge. You're having some amazing hors d'oeuvres. You have an open bar. So, and you're mingling with the cast and you're wandering around. And so, yes, it has to be that way. The second one, people always seem to want to dress up for it. So I finally was like, business casual. So yeah, because you get to go back to your hotel and then you can change clothes and come back. You know, whether you come in costume, you know, cosplay, whether you come in a cocktail dress or just a nice blouse and slacks, whatever you want to choose to wear, as long as it's business casual. Yep.
Do you see? Do you see the question? How do I upgrade a ticket before the event? That's Steph
You send me
Camper.
an email, and if the ticket is available, it depends on where you're wanting to go from. If you're wanting to go from like Northumbria to East Anglia or East Anglia to Mercia, there's a wait list for Wessex and Bevanburg, just like there's a wait list for Lollybrook and Fraser's Ridge. So you would be put on the wait list, but I will tell you, it happens a lot. Where I go, somebody's got to give up their ticket, and I start going to the wait list, and they have to pass because they just can't afford it right now.
Mm.
And when somebody passes, they rotate and go back to the bottom of the wait list. So if they pass and they don't get it, then it starts to move up again. And there are people who have been put on a wait list and last minute get a ticket. I even have people who contact me to ask, okay, I can't go, but I want to send my friend in their place. Can I do that? Yes, you can, because it's your ticket, but you just have to notify me, especially if it's a top tier. Especially if it's top tier. So, yeah. Back to Mandy.
All right, Miss Mandy, what you want?
Okay, the one thing that I really want people to understand is the fact that I'm part of the first generation.
Mm-hmm.
When I first contacted Gina, I was running Sophie Skelton Sophisticates. She had just been announced to attend. Unfortunately, that particular event, her and Richard were forced to cancel because they had to go and do reshoots because they had a really bad winter that year.
Yep.
And I went anyway. And that is kind of where I got introduced. If you were at that generation, there was nothing like it. Like, I mean, Christina and I both know, Costas, we were there. There was a unifying, like, this is something amazing that nobody has ever done before. Mm-hmm. And I knew the moment, and I'm attracted to leadership. I love, being a leader as well, but I'm attracted to strong leadership. So when I went in there and I said, whatever you need from Sophisticates, I am more than willing to give 100% to it. And I wanted to go anyway just to see what was going on. I'd never been to a con before, but I was going to attend whether Sophie was attending or not. The one thing that I have to say is that this is also continued, where people in that core are starting to bring in other people because they know how good it is. So we're bringing our friends, we're bringing our, we're telling other groups about it because there's nothing like this. Mm-hmm. I mean, people can try and do something different, but it's when you have the experience that Gina does, especially with all of the events, and her resume is ridiculous. She won't tell you, but it's ridiculous. Like, she's going to kill me later. But that's when she said at the second event, she goes, people aren't getting this. So then she said, I need a video. She knew I was doing those like cut frame videos with all the episodes and everything. And I said, well, I've never done anything in After Effects before. And she did. But she didn't know I
pushed her. The first time I pushed her on one of her video productions, the next time I pushed her out of her comfort zone. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Yeah. And then finally, I just stepped right in her comfort zone and shoved her out and made her take part, because Mandy is an amazing talent and she understands video production, and I'm so fortunate to have her in my life because, you guys just saw the video I released for What is Sasnak City, and I told her what I wanted, and I needed something like this to explain it because it's hard to explain. But as several people can attest, I will get on the phone with somebody and talk to them and talk them through it. I have no qualms doing that. And it's important. It's important that it's done.
Those phone calls need to come with a warning, because I got one of those phone calls, and after an hour and a half, I think I was going.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
she wouldn't
because you're like, you're going, forget it. And then she hung up. I was like, who is this woman?
Yeah, it's just, with I know I do things different, and I know that the first generation was so amazing. I mean, those women are so incredible, and I just love every one of them. And then they started bringing more, and so now I have my second generation. Then I have my third generation of all these people who keep joining the sisterhood that I
Yep.
never imagined would build. Never.
We
Never.
didn't know it was going to happen either.
No.
We didn't know it at all. But I mean, there were so many newbies there. There was people that were like, seasoned congoers, and they were, like, we've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
So the access to it, I mean, Gary will just walk through that waiting room that we all sit at, and he's like, hello, everybody, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he's very open. That's about it. Yeah.
But I mean, I am so excited for what is going to happen. I mean, this is what we, strive for. Yes, I mean, I just don't know what to say. Like, I need people to understand from an attendee's perspective. Yes, I make these videos, but I'm still an attendee first.
Right.
So those types of things that, people need to understand is that this is an experience. There are tickets that have, photographs and autos, and they don't realize that you can actually have a Bebenberg experience on, what's the lower tier again?
Which one?
Wessex.
Northumbria.
I'm brain farting.
You can.
Yeah, Northumbria.
Northumbria.
Yeah.
You can.
And
go
you
all the way
can make
to
your own
Northumbria.
experience. But yes, those tickets are inclusive. There's amazing things. Read those details, because a lot of people make those judgment calls without reading them. Go in and see what you're getting, because I don't think you're going to get lunch with the cast, or you're not going to have a round robin exclusive thing where you're sitting with every single member that is in attendance.
Yeah.
Like, those are little tiny meet and greets that you would have to pay like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds for.
There's been
That is incredible.
Sorry, Mandy. There's been a lot of comments. Yes, I think it was Heidi who said, actually, for this last kingdom, for the kingdom one, we are all first timers. So
Yeah,
yes, and trust me, none of us that have been
the last kingdom event, you absolutely will be the first generation.
absolutely, and not here, not just everybody's very inclusive. Everybody's very inclusive. And yes, the cast does have as much fun. But let's get Woodworth. Do you have some questions?
I do. So let's get back to some of them. So Laura Palisi has a question. Can you come up with a signature cocktail called the Laura? It's got to have whiskey in it, specifically Sasnak.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Laura drop that in. And just so you know, Laura, I invented it an hour later. So you're good. You'll get it when you come to Kansas City. I have a background in bartending, in case anybody wants to know. That's what that is.
She does. She does.
I have a big one.
Yeah. So, and then I'm going to ask, so Diane Schindler had some great questions.
Okay.
And they're more logistics, a couple of them. She wants to know, like, what is the hotel preference for Sasnak City? When would she book it? So we'll go with that one first. And then
Remington's texting me, I'm sorry.
So, and we can actually kind of answer that. So while you're texting, if you want, but so all details for hotel meet and greets, everything will be in the Sasnak City attendees group. If you have bought a ticket and have not requested to join that group, be sure to do so, because everything that you'll need to know will be in that group, from the meals, meet and greets, hotels, and even attendees that maybe want to offset costs and share rooms. So that's also something that does come up.
Okay.
You can go to multiple hotels, but I will say that the Wessex has a shuttle that goes back and forth.
But the Westin is my hotel of choice. I have a special block with them. They know us. They've been with us for 3 years. We had some issues with the contract because, COVID caused so many things and the reworking of so many things. And so we have to kind of work around that and deal with that. So they had to come up with a new contract. They had to do all these things different. So I had some issues because they had the wrong dates. They had the wrong, they had everything going backwards. So I had to fix it and wait for the contract to be finalized. It's finally been finalized. Now I just have to wait for the link. Once the link's available, I will notify you in Sasnak City attendees group. As for meet and greets, the round robin events, that only goes on sale in the groups. I do not put them public ever, because people seem to think if I buy a ticket to a meet and greet, I can just come to the event. That's not how that works. So I keep them private and keep them controlled. Like with the round robin cocktail party, there's 10 people per cast member. So if I have 6 cast members, there's 60 people. There's 60 tickets available. The second tier, which is Wessex or Lollybrock, has that ticket included. So 21 of them are removed. That's why it's such a high demand ticket. It's because people want it because it's so much fun. Those only go on sale in the group. And it's because of one in particular. There was a glitch on the website, and it caused an issue, and I actually oversold an event. So I had to add an extra table because we didn't know. When the website updated, it added the ones that had sold right back in, and I didn't catch it. And I was like, why am I getting purchases for this? We're sold out. Panic. So yeah, all that stuff goes on sale on the website. And just so you know, the meet and greets are 12 people maximum, and they're 40 minutes. 30 minutes of open discussion, 10 minutes for selfies. So I know somebody had asked me before, they DM me how many people are in them. 12 people maximum. Only 12 tickets are sold. And they can happen off-site. They don't necessarily happen on-site. As we know, Gary Lewis did one, and Kyle Reese both did them in a local coffee shop / bar. So it doesn't necessarily have to happen where you think it's going to happen. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Mandy, so we can keep this going. But thanks for joining us.
Thank you for letting me in.
Yes.
Goodbye. We'll chat later.
All right. So, and then somebody, I think it was actually Diane asked, do you have to, basically wanted to know how quickly would she need to book the room once those, the details come available. But, yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, sorry. Do you have like a certain period of booking?
Once I release the link, it will say the last date available to book them. But if the room block sells out, then I continue to add. It's like once somebody goes, well, I tried to get the room right and it wouldn't give it to me. I go right back in and have them in more, because I'm set at a certain block, and then I'll just add X amount of dates, X amount of more rooms, X amount of until they allow me to do that, because I'm such a small convention and I've worked with them so often. So yeah, they allow me to add. So when I announce that you can do it that day, there's actually rooms available starting, I think it's Wednesday through Monday checkout. I think that's how it works this year on both events.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that should be an important thing to discuss, is that make this a trip. If you've never been to Kansas City, come for a full visit. Explore what our city and our area has to offer.
Absolutely. People seem to think that this was another thing that I did with this event. I wanted to shake it up and make people see, because you say, well, it's in Kansas City, and people automatically think two things: Cowtown, Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
Both of them. Oh, you're Cowtown. Oh, you're Cowtown. Okay, we host the American Royal, which is one of the biggest, livestock things and rodeo and best barbecue competition in the world. But we're also in Kansas City, Missouri, not so much Kansas, which means Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, Kansas, which you live in, Woodworth. I'm on the Missouri side, which means Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, now, we're all part of the metro.
I know. We're all one kingdom.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so people always thought that, but what they don't realize is, Kansas City is an amazing town. Yes, we have excellent barbecue, but the Jazz District, the West Bottoms, Power and Light, there's so much.
The art scene is
crazy.
Yeah, the museum is great to go to. That what's the name of that museum? Right,
Nelson Atkins.
Nelson Atkins.
Yes, that was awesome to take the time to walk
Graham and
through.
Annette went there and wandered around. Graham and Annette did for like 2-3 hours. So yeah.
Grant O'Rourke did during the first
Yep,
for
he
the
did
first
too.
one, because
Yep.
as I was taking pictures, he was posting. It was like he was at each like little spot on that road like 20 minutes before me. But anyway,
We're
yeah,
going way long here, people.
I know.
I know.
We're three freaking talkers trying to do this. Yeah.
Oh, Heidi. Yes, Heidi. Shopping on the plaza.
That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we got
Somebody
great
else
things
had
to do.
just asked a question that I wanted to just tell you about. But how many panels?
Mhm.
That's a question for you.
We have the opening panel, we have the closing panel, and we've had glitches because like last year, 2019, we had less panels because there was so much cast and so many people, which is another reason I've cut this down. We're going to have, at least, let's see, so opening panel, because every morning I have a panel in the morning, and then we have a couple, and how I'm scheduling it now is there's probably going to be opening panel, closing panel, probably at least 3 a day is what I'm shooting for on Saturday and Sunday, 3 a day, which may be, them sitting at the front of the stage, just, hanging out. I mean, we don't know. We just don't know how it's going to work. So because I'm all about that free moment where they just kind of do. So, and just let them go.
Right.
Which has got me in trouble because we lost Gary Lewis.
I was just going to say, Gary Lewis kind of, schedule, throw out the window.
I mean,
So,
Graham shocked a woman sideways by shopping with her. I mean, she was like, "Oh my God!" Yeah.
so I wanted to also bring up your charity that you support, Camp Encourage.
Yeah.
So what goes on at the event that helps support the camp? Is it a live auction, silent auction?
No, I prefer silent. Live auction's too crazy. And I'm trying it. Usually it comes down to the end of the day because I leave on Sunday. I leave everything pretty much open until like almost the last minute to encourage sales. It can be anything. I mean, I've had artwork donated. I've had autographed things taken care of and donated. The cast members have brought in actual scripts that were autographed by everybody in the cast. They've donated things that just blow my mind that are personal things of theirs. David Barry gave up a set of pictures that he is the only one that had them. He gave them to me to auction off, to auction off. It's just amazing. It could be things that people have purchased, magazines that you can't get your hands on that the cast was in, or things like that with Outlander. One of the items I have purchased is a replica for the TLK convention, is a replica of Serpent's Breath, which is Serpent Breath is
I know.
Yeah, it's Idrid's sword, and it was just released for them to have to be able to create the sword and actually make one. And so I have bought one or two or maybe three. I don't know how many I bought. I bought a lot. So I will be having the cast all autograph it, and it will go up for auction. So that money goes towards Camp Encourage, and I'm actually adding a second charity this year called Stand for the Silent, which is an anti-bullying organization. Camp Encourage has been my #1 charity for a long time, and it's a charity for autistic children like my son, because people don't realize, autism is it's such a tricky thing to maneuver, and anything can trigger a child with autism, or meltdowns and things like that. My son has them all. He has a different kind of autism. He's like, everybody thinks, oh, well, autism is this. No, it's not. If you've met one child with autism, guess what? You've met one child with autism, because every one of them is different. And so this camp, people kind of, us growing up, we went to summer camp. Some of us went to summer camp. We send our kids now to summer camp. We kind of take it for granted that things like brushing your teeth or brushing your hair or washing your hands, that's normal, right? It's normal. It can set a child with autism off because it's the wrong toothpaste. It's not the right color toothbrush. They've missed their schedule. It's not on time. And these people at Camp Encourage, these volunteers who work with it, most of them have children with autism or have autism. So they understand it. And the organization is just amazing, because I couldn't send Tristan to a neurologically typical type. I couldn't send him to a regular. I just couldn't, because it would just be so bad for him and for them. But you send him to a camp where everybody there is trained to handle the variety and this, you know, this huge spectrum of things. And they deserve that opportunity. They deserve to have the experiences that a kid without autism has. So it's very near and dear to my heart. And the cast has stepped up in ways I never imagined. I mean, we just did the virtual chats recently, and you know, they helped me raise $27,000. So
That was awesome.
it's crazy.
That was
And
fantastic.
yes, I know there's one person who's still waiting, or two people who are still waiting on their stuff. I'm trying.
I know.
So,
Scheduling. They are busy. They are busy.
Tricky. So yeah.
As far as the silent
What else you
auction,
got for me?
okay, the silent auction, it's not just though high ticket. You have the raffle so that you can just,
Mhm.
yep. So that it doesn't, I want people to understand you don't have to have,
No.
this unlimited checkbook,
We do
because a
raffles,
lot of
too.
us are on a budget. We do the raffles, and it's amazing things. Like I came home the first time with a lot of alcohol. So,
Now, can attendees donate for the auction?
Absolutely. You can donate items if you have something in particular, a piece of artwork you've made, or, you know, a collection of books that are autographed by the author, or something that you have that you've designed, something unique. All the magazines, like I said, blanket. I mean, you can donate anything. You know, even a basket of, like, you know, snacks from the UK, you know, things that, you know, or something that things that are, you know, kind of in that niche, things like that. Yeah. Outlander stuff, you know, TOK stuff. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Don't be like
bringing
trying
up
to auction off some things that you shouldn't. So
Yes. Yeah.
bringing up that people, attendees can donate for the raffle, and bringing different things. What about gifts for the cast members?
I do something a little bit different in my convention. So if you're an attendee at the convention, I don't like to talk about it publicly like this forum, but I will talk about it in that event. I do something a little bit different because just keep in mind, the cast has to take this all with them. So we want to make sure that if we bring things to them that are small, they're small, they're easy to pack, because they have limited space that they're leaving with. So we need to keep that in mind. We definitely do. I know that, so these two women right here, the Christinas, Costas can cook Greek food like nobody's business. Woodworth can create pretty much anything. They both can. And so I know you guys are excellent in the kitchen. I have a lot of attendees who are amazing chefs and bakers, and I've had this presented to me a couple times. And so I hate to burst people's bubble, but you're not allowed to give the cast homemade food, homemade baked goods. I don't care if it is the best in the nation. I don't. And here I'm very specific about this because my Aunt Lynn was a health inspector for 30 years. She in the city of Independence. I mean, and Christina can tell you, Woodworth, the city of Independence kind of broke the mold for health departments because they are so strict on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were, but I wouldn't even let my Aunt Lynn bake something and bring it to them. Mm-hmm. And it's not because of any other reason except for this. There's too much risk for cross-contamination. There's too much risk for an allergy reaction. If it does not come from a commercial kitchen and it is not sealed in a proper package, I will throw it away because I have to protect the cast. I have to protect them from something that you may not even know was on your kitchen counter. So it's very tricky. And I know people like to do that. I would love to give them my daughter's shortbread. She's 10 years old and makes like one of the best shortbreads I've ever tasted in my life, which is ridiculous. I would love to be able to do that, but I won't because it's too much of a risk. And I come from the restaurant industry, so I know all about health code and guidances and food handling, but I still wouldn't do it. So I can't. If it's prepackaged or like the best cookie shop in your town, go get those cookies, but they have to be made in a commercial kitchen where cross-contamination and, they have guidelines. I have to do that. So that's actually part of what I have to watch a lot. Because I can't have them snacking on something and it's got, Mary Jane floating around it. Next thing you know, they're out on stage and they're going to cope. I mean, come on now.
Exactly. So now, Whitney Johnson had a great question. What
Yes,
are
she
your
did.
pie in the sky dream goals for Sasnak City?
Wow.
More
I'd love to have,
fundraisers.
let's face it, we would all love to have, a lead come to a small convention, but most leads only go to large conventions. You've got Alexander from the Last Kingdom. You've got, if I was to do a Discovery of Witches convention, you've got Matthew and Teresa, who you were like, yes. Sam Hugh and Katrina Balfe. That would be great. And I know this is going to sound weird, but I would love to do an all-female panel convention. I think that, like the women of Outlander, I think that would just be amazing. Sadly, I don't think it would happen because of all the clashing of schedules. And, I don't know if it could ever happen. But because if you look at us, the female cast get underplayed a lot in most fandoms. And women will argue and be like, no, that's not true. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think we have in the Outlander fandom and in the Last Kingdom fandom, we have some of the best female actors ever.
Yes.
Ever. Katrina Balfe, God, come on. Emily Cox.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Right? Eliza Butter. Come on. You can't get better than people who make that complete transition and do what they do. Sophie Skelton, Lauren Lyle. It's just, we have some of the, and I would like production there as well. People from production. To me, that would be the ultimate event. But I guess in reality and truth, that's probably never going to happen. But I just want everybody to walk away from Sasnak City happy. That's a goal. That's a dream. Is to be like, that was the most amazing event ever. That was the best experience of my life.
And I think anybody that has attended your event can say that.
Aww.
Easily.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hands down.
They're not paid, I swear. They're both actual attendees.
We started as attendees.
Yeah, there was a question that came in, and I apologize because I was writing like five
Nell
things
Hudson,
at once.
yes, Nell Hudson.
Oh,
Nell Hudson is freaking
amazing.
Brilliant. Okay.
What is the one thing you want people to know about Sasnak City and you?
That there's a couple things that don't fly with me. Sasnak City does not allow any form of bullying. It doesn't allow segregation. I don't give a crap about your fan wars. I don't give a crap. I don't care. And I've said it before on stage. When you come to a Sasnak City event, you need to leave all that crap at the door. Because for one weekend, we are united in our love for the particular fandom we're at. I fell in love with Outlander in 94. Fell in love with frickin' The Last Kingdom in 2016. I don't have time to fight and bicker with people. I'm not at war with anybody, and I don't expect my attendees to be at war with each other just because, Sam's better than, Bob. I don't know. Or, Stacy over there, not our Stacy, but I'm just throwing a name out there. Stacy told Christina that my aunt was, who cares?
Right.
I don't care. The fact is, for those days, we are completely immersed in getting to know people who feel the way we do about something, who love the same thing we do. People, in order to develop friendships, really truly only need one common thing, one thing that is common ground between them. That's how you start the connection. You all came to the first Sasnak City event because you all loved Outlander. Now people are coming because they all love The Last Kingdom. Really? That's your common ground. From that moment of TLK Outlander, look what has been built. There's women who travel together and book freaking vacations in Scotland. They room together. They talk every day, all because of a woman who wrote a book and a man who wrote a book. It all started with a book. And that to me is just profound. That's how it started. So there's that common thread. who knows what you're going to find out about each other. I mean, I wasn't really a band geek. I was more of a theater geek, but I was in band. But, you know, I have a love of theater that most people wouldn't know, but a lot of you do because we've talked about it.
Right.
So that's really all you need is that one common ground. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose to try it? Sasnak City does not allow segregation. I don't allow it. I don't allow bullying. If I find out you're bullying, well, then you get a deal with me. That's kind of sad.
So speaking of, I wanted to bring up, so how do you deal with it, people that have caused issues?
There are people who have been banned from my event. There have been people who have been removed from my groups. I have people who refuse to even speak the name Sasnak City for fear that I will be conjured. This is all I can say. And I did a video in my private group about this because there was some stuff happening that, you know, it just happens. If your plan is to mistreat other people or your plan is to somehow be inappropriate with a cast member, don't come to Sasnak City because I promise you, I will remove you. And there's so many people in Sasnak City right now, and, you know, for the Kingdom and the Gathering, who realize this is not a place for you to goose a cast member or get your hands on their nuts. I'm sorry, I hate to be vulgar, but, or run your fingers through their hair, or you don't have that right.
Right.
I don't have that right. No one has the right to treat a cast member like that or a fellow attendee. So if that's your game, probably Sasnak City isn't the best bet for you because you need to pay attention to my terms and conditions. I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for that. I mean, I'm partnering with an organization that, you know, represents children with autism. Most people who are bullied have some form of special needs. So then I'm also partnering with Stand for the Silent, an anti-bullying campaign for kids in school. If you're a 40, 50, 60-year-old woman and you're acting like a bully, okay, I'm sorry, but what are you showing your grandchildren or children? I call it like I see it. And if I see that happen at my event, I will remove you. I don't have time for that. And none of you do either. And so I hate that I have to do it. It is so painful to know that, you know, this person who I've got to know or this person who I like or care about or whatever, I just have to move them out. I have to get rid of them and I have to cut them off so they can't be involved. And it sucks when I have to do that, but it's going to take a lot to get me there. So it's happened. It has happened. And I cannot allow it. I cannot allow it. The safety of the cast and the safety of my attendees and my team is the most important thing. And I can't allow anybody to disrupt that. And by getting physical or getting inappropriate or offending somebody, offending anybody. And yes, I know now in this day, it's highly easy to offend people. I am probably one of the people who is hardest to offend. But the fact is, if you're doing something that you're questioning, oh God, will that offend somebody? It's going to offend somebody. Don't do it.
Yep.
Don't do it. And I do come with a disclaimer. I do. Because, man.
Warning label, Gina.
Big one.
But if you look at a lot of people that have attended your events, respect and kindness, and
Yep.
it's not just for the cast, which is different than most events. It's respect and kindness from one attendee to another.
Absolutely. Do not treat another attendee like they're less than you. I don't give two craps what your tier is. I'm sorry, I hate to say that. You are all attendees of my convention. You are all family members of my convention. I'm not going to treat, oh, well, we have to, well, let her do that because she's a Fraser's Ridge or she's a PEP member. Nope. I will take that credential just as quick as I would take a Northumbria's. If you act disrespectful or treat a cast member in any way or a fellow attendee in any way or a team member of mine or of the World War I Museum in any way, I will take that ticket as quickly as I would anybody else's. You're not going to get special treatment. The fact is there's just people who can afford more than others and who want to splurge on a bigger ticket because this may be the only thing they do all year. And they do it. But that doesn't make them any better than the person who's coming in as a Northumbria. Doesn't make them any better than the person who's walked through the doors of Carolina Territory. Do you know why? Because you're all fans and you're all an attendee. And don't fuss with my family. Don't fuss with them and we won't have a problem. So, yeah, that's just, I mean, I know that sounds bad, but My job is to protect the cast and you guys. That's my job. I'm like a big mom for everybody. That's my job. And I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't change it for
So
anything.
I'm gonna bring in Kat.
Ah! That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, we're
That's my
trying to get
dog.
her. We're trying to get her on board. Let me see if it's going to cooperate. So now I do want to find out what has been the most embarrassing thing that has happened either virtually or we can call it in person.
Embarrassing?
Yes.
Well, I know you're probably thinking the Richard Rankin thing where he laid me down on the stage, but that was kind of, hey. Dreams really do come true. I really don't know. There she is. Is she
There's
frozen?
Miss Beautiful.
Kathy, are you
All
frozen?
right, she's coming. It's a little slow.
She's
I don't know.
buffering.
Hey, Kat.
Hello, beautiful.
I really
Hi.
don't know. There she is. Is she
There's
frozen?
Miss Beautiful.
Kathy, are you
Hi,
frozen?
how are you?
Good. Do we have
Good to
feedback coming
see
through?
you.
There, there is some
Hey,
feedback.
Yeah, I'm getting some feedback, some echo. Let's see.
I'm here. I'm
Right,
good.
there's feedback.
Oh, there is some big echo on here.
Well, there's a delay.
There we go.
Got a
There we go.
huge delay. Are you live now?
Yes, I'm live. I'm alive.
Okay.
Okay, I think the feedback
we're
might be
good.
gone.
What's
All
up,
right.
Kat? How
Hi.
you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. This has been so much fun. I just feel like I'm in the room with all of you.
I feel like I'm going like super long. Like we've been on this for like 5 hours.
Well, we're pushing an hour and 45, so we're gonna.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap it up.
But I did want to bring in Kat, who has been an attendee for many events.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my God. And I can
This
still
is-
remember that day when I had just kind of become a fan of Outlander and had totally fallen in love with it. I hadn't been to anything else. I didn't know, I had never been to a big con. And I saw the Sasnak City come out and I saw a bunch of comments and I saw so much stuff. And then I was like, should I go for it? Should I go for it? And I'm going for this. And it was, the first event, which it just brings so much love to my heart. We had so much fun. We all just like melded, and I never knew what it was like. I mean, from that day on, it's like my friends, they're like, where are you going? I'm going to Kansas City. What was that for? My Outlander group. They're like, you're what? Now they all know who my Outlander group is.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yep.
it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And the biggest thing, Gina, I've said this to you. When I walked into the World War I museum and I was walking through the big lobby area and I saw you coming at me and I was like, hi, Gina. And I'm like, you probably don't know who I am. And she's like, I know who you are, Kathy. And I'm like, you do? And it was just like this feeling of total family and love. And, I was like, Gina knows who I am, So, yeah.
Cracks me up.
And then, and then Costas, we met her. Woodworth, you weren't there yet, but then when you were there, it was just so amazing. But we have pictures that have been posted. Mandy's included them in some of her videos from that first gen, and you can just see it's like, and they come up on when I turn my phone on and I get the revolving pictures, they come up and I'm like, yes, So yes, anybody who is able to, please come to Sasnak City. If you are able to get a ticket. It is a very loving group and environment, and everybody that works there, and you get to be up and close and personal with the cast, which is so amazing. Not touchy, but
No.
but I never thought I'd stand you know, a foot away from Ed Spaliers and talk to him just about normal stuff. He was walking through one of the halls. It just totally amazed me. And the cast is so open and loving with everybody. And you know, now with all the chats, you know, I'm so excited about TLK because I've actually met these people ahead of time. And like Eliza's like, oh, I can't wait to meet you in person, you know. And so, you know, this is going to be first gen for TLK, and it's just going to be so much fun.
It's going to be amazing.
So thank you for bringing me into the Sasnak family. And like I said, if anyone can sit in those seats, if I can fit in those seats, anyone can fit in those seats, because I'm very tall and I'm not tiny at all. So, and you know, I've been
my big old butt sits right down in there, and I'm like, woo, and I've even got room.
Exactly. And I've been to auditoriums where I go to sit and I do not fit between the two armrests. I do not fit. And you're like, now what the am I going to do? So totally comfortable, totally open, and you know, not a bad seat in the house. It just, and like somebody said, and I think it was Deb or Nona said, and Gina supplies water throughout the whole thing. And she supplies iced tea. Yay, which is my favorite.
Coffee, tea, and water throughout the whole event. Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
And another nice thing about the venue, just because how it's sectioned off, because it is a working museum, there's people walking around, but there's only a certain area where you know, the stars can be at, that the attendees can be at. We actually have our own bathrooms, so we don't have to worry about, you know, trying to fight, you know, the crowds at the museum.
Right.
So that's, you know, just another testament to how well put together the event is.
And one more thing, there's something there that you will never find, because I have now since been to not a lot, but several other cons that you will never find. Gina there's a large room in the museum that we're allowed to utilize that has, I don't know, 15, 16 tables. And in between the events and the panels and the meet and greets and the signatures and pictures, you can go into this room, and that room was the most fun. You all sit around big tables. You can all talk to the other attendees. You get to know them and to love them. Where can you go to a con that you can have that type of intimacy with the other attendees? You're always standing in some freaking line, sweating your butt off. Your legs and your knees are hurting. I mean, yeah.
We had our table. Well, you know, because I'm a nerd, so I brought treats for my table so that they each had little things. Because we had a table. We just I don't even know how we ended up sitting together at the first one.
No,
we all sat together. It's our table. It's at the same spot, and nobody better freaking take it. But yeah, you're right. You do, and you spend a lot of time in there, and you're sitting. You're not standing in a line. And somebody had asked that earlier. You are sitting. Now, come on. There's 192. Are you going to be in line for 10 minutes? Maybe. But you're with your friends.
Right.
You're with your new friends. You're with this new family. And so it is going to go by. And no, it's you know, it's just, you have to come. Everybody, you have to come just to see me and watch me get made a fool of.
So I did want to.
That would be all of us. So
who can bring a David stand up?
I do have to bring up one question. I'm going to totally kill the mood. So okay. we have been in lockdown for a year.
Right.
Yes.
Good point.
So when it comes to, do you know if the city travel, are we going to be required to have our COVID vaccine?
Talking about COVID. Here's the thing. The National World War I Museum is nationally registered, so they have to abide by all guidelines of the city, the county, the state, federal, as well as follow all CDC and WHO regulations and guidelines. I can't make that call because we don't know what travel's going to do. We don't know if they're going to be like, well, you can't get on a plane without a vaccine, or you can't take a bus, or you can't I don't know. I know I have to get it because of the fact of my mother And the fact that I'm going to be around a lot of people. And I have my mom, my aunt, Nick's parents are all aging. And plus, why not? You know what I mean? Are masks going to be required? We don't know because it's in August.
Right.
And so I can't make a call on something like that as of this moment because we just don't know. But, you know, reading everything coming in from the UK and looking at this, and it's constant. I mean, you know, constant updates. I can tell you the World War I Museum has never had a single outbreak of COVID in their entire staff because they're so strict on the guidelines.
Right.
And that's amazing. That's
Yep.
amazing. So, because it's still been open public for people to come and take tours. So, I just don't know. And I can't, you know, people have asked, well, are you going to cancel? Are you going to postpone? I don't know. I can't make that call. It depends, you know, the vaccines of people, I mean, everything's picking up, everything's getting, and I realize there's people who don't want to get the vaccine and people who can't get it or just think it, whatever. That they're entitled to their opinion. And that's fine. But I just don't know what can be happening at that moment in time. I have no idea.
I'll have to wait.
I just have to, yeah, I have to wait and see. You know, I moved the Sasnak City gathering from June all the way to November. I moved it. And then my mayor comes out and is like, oh, you can have as big a gatherings as you want. And I was like, what? But at the same time, it was a smart move because number one, I like to have the event in November. The second factor of that is by November, more people will have been vaccinated.
Right.
Things will have, we will continue to develop and we will continue to track things and see how things are going. So it's better that way. Just like the event in August, it's the end of August going into September. So, yeah.
But it's going to be, you're following state and your state's and, you know, city's regulations. It's not,
county,
yeah.
state, and federal. Yep, I'm following
Right.
because of the venue. The
Right.
venue where I'm at, not that I wouldn't in any situation, but the specific venue, because they're nationally registered, they're a national museum. I mean, they got the big pressure. It's not like I rented, you know, I don't know, a theater in Midtown, Kansas City, and said, I'm going to have it here. You know,
We're at the Uptown.
so, you know, I can do that.
Let's all go for
museum.
barbecue, and Gina's going to provide some more entertainment. We just have it all.
So yeah,
But that it is coming from, it's not anything. You know, those decisions are made for us, made for Sasnak City.
They're made for Sasnak City by the city, the state. I have to abide by the city and state regulations. I have to.
Right.
I have too many people involved because it's not just the attendees who come or the cast members who come or the volunteers who work. Think of how many of us have families. You come to Kansas City, you go home, you're on a plane. You then go home and you have like all your family and then it's too dangerous to mess with. So yes, I will always follow their guidelines. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And so will you be also providing hand sanitizer, any products like that?
Oh yes. I am like buying stock in them. I've got, oh, they're on sale. Buy. Oh, they're on sale. Like, I think Bath and Body Works is pretty sick of me. Because I'm like, can I get like 75 of those? They're like, what? How many can I get maximum, you know? But I have to have it. So people, I could put it in swag bags. I could put it, you know, sit it there so people can take it. Masks, all of that. I have to have it. And so just in case.
Right.
And if not, I'll have a big, you know, stock of it and we'll just, I don't know, have fun with it. So, yeah.
That kind of, I don't know what Woodworth was going to say. I was just going to say that kind of brings us back. The fact that you're doing that and looking to provide it kind of brings it all right back to Sasnak City is respect, kindness, and we all have fun.
Yes.
And I think that's what people need to realize, and that from Gina, who is, just so people are aware, Gina is the head of Sasnak City. She is the president. She is the CEO. She is also customer service. There's no claim representative you have to talk to.
I have some friends of mine who do jump in and will send emails, and like my niece has done it. One of my cousins has done it for me because they know how I do things and how I handle things. And some of you will handle questions for me that I can, you know, that you can answer. But 9 times out of 10, it's me. So I'm the one who logs your tickets. I'm the one who looks at your names. That's how I know that you were this tier and you were that tier and you were this tier and you bought this and you bought this, because I have a stupid, ridiculous elephant memory. and it's weird.
And because you are hands-on, that's why it comes straight down from you. So I know you don't like to hear it all the time. So if you need to go get a tissue, it comes from Gina, and this is coming as an attendee. I had no idea who the hell Gina Phipps Hubble was when I went to that first, when I came in April. I had no idea who she was. And Gina demands respect, but not just for herself. This is what I think people need to understand. She will defend you. If you're an attendee and somebody bullies you, she will defend you. And you don't find that. Let me tell you, when I was in Chicago and I got called that name because I had a higher ticket than that other lady, nobody gave two craps. Nobody cared at all. Gina is there to demand respect from everyone and kindness toward everyone. And I think that's, if you haven't been, you're in for a treat. It's going to be amazing. August, can't get here soon enough. Because we can't wait to meet everybody that's new. And
I know, I'm super excited about that.
And have them experience, if they're not in Edinburgh, have them experience that Friday night get together that Gina puts on. And it's just, trust me, there's a lot of pictures, right, Kat? There's a lot of pictures on those videos.
Oh my
from that
God.
Friday
Oh
night.
my God. Yes, absolutely.
So
That's
actually,
right.
Thursday night get together.
That's
It's a Thursday.
Yes,
It's a
yes,
Thursday
that'll
night
be
now.
so fun.
But
I do want to say this because I need to get off here. We've come up
Yeah,
on 2 hours.
yeah,
I
we're
really
gonna
want this
be-
to be like a maximum an hour because I'm not good with this kind of thing. Here's why I never did one. Okay, I know I'm an asshole. This is why. It's because I know I said this to a couple of you, and you're like, I cannot believe you ever get nervous. It's not so much nerves as it is flat out fear. It's flat out fear. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth, and usually I'm as shocked as everybody else. I'm like, what? And I'm like, what? It's total fear because I just shoot from the hip, and that's why I've never done it. But in that and getting emotional, it's hard. It's hard to think about the ones I've lost this past year from the Sasnak family. If you want, and Christina, I know you asked me this question, Costas asked me this question. What do I want people to know about me? And what do I want people to know about Sasnak City? I guess I can pretty much sum it up with this. You're not an attendee. You're my family. And I love you all, which means I have your back until you make me not have your back. I will always have your back because you all had enough trust in me to buy a ticket to an event that you'd never heard of from a person you didn't know. And that is just so profound. It's so that you guys trusted me enough and that you believed enough in what the vision I had and the event I wanted to create, that because of that, you built a community around it. And you let me be a member. To know that I have that much to do with that. I could not ask for any better attendees than I have. I am continually humbled by you and your kindness and your generosity. And you just, people say that, you have a big heart. I never realized how big my heart was until all of you filled it.
Yeah.
And because of, being bullied and being treated the way I was before in my life. And you kind of learn to withdraw. But I tell you, people want to know what Sasnak City is. It's a safe place.
Yes.
It's a safe place for you to fangirl and have fun and just wave your freak flag and be who you are. And you better own it.
Yep.
Because I own it.
Yes.
I am a nerd. I am a freak. And I know that. And I don't apologize for it. This is my house and it's my rules. And I am so thankful that I have so much family who come into my house and who come in with the same mentality I do as We do it for the love of a book, the love of a show, and the love of each other. So if you want to know what Sasnak City is, it's the family you never knew you needed. And it's your safe place. It's your haven. Because it's mine. And I'm a total nerd. And I love every one of you. Every one of you who has been generous enough to allow me to be in your presence, because you guys humble me. So yeah. Damn it. Barbara! God.
So I think we're going to call it a day.
Yes. Beautiful.
We can't end it any better. Thank you for your time. 2 hours. We were going to keep it under one.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you know.
It's the woodworks and the Costas thing. It's totally me. I totally admit it.
So this will be posted onto the Sasnak City Instagram. And I know we did not get to everybody's questions. We tried to get through as many as we could. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you're also not on the Sasnak Society group, join us there. And we're happy to help you. With that, love you all.
I love you guys. Costas, Woodworth, Ms.
All right.
I love you.
All right.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you.